Well, I met him, and I just want to say he seems like one of the coolest people on earth.
A lot of it's my real-life clothes, or my husband's clothes, or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle.
Something's definitely changing in Taylor Swift's circle, and it looks like Blake Lively might be at the heart of it. If you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that Taylor and Blake's friendship, once the epitome of Hollywood besties, seems to be cooling off. People are starting to wonder, what's going on? Sources close to Taylor say she's been feeling used, and now she's quietly pulling away. Now, if you're thinking, wait, weren't they just hanging out a few months ago? You're right. But here's where it gets juicy. Taylor has always been loyal to her inner circle, but when she feels like she's being taken advantage of, that's when the tides start to turn. And right now, everything's pointing to the fact that that might be exactly what's happening here. Blake and Taylor's friendship has been the stuff of envy for fans, one of those iconic, high-profile bonds that everyone watches with. But recently, Taylor's been keeping her distance. Word on the street is that she's starting to realize Blake may have been riding on her coattails a little too much, whether it's for clout, to boost her public image, or maybe even to deflect from her own drama. A source close to the situation hints that Taylor started feeling the change when she noticed a pattern. Every time Blake found herself in the middle of controversy, suddenly, their friendship would be front and center. Public appearances, social media shoutouts, those were BFFs moments. Now that they're looking back, they feel a little too perfectly timed. And Taylor? She's not the type to fall for that. And here's the real kicker. Some people are saying Taylor picked up on how Blake handled the whole drama with Baldoni. If you missed the chaos, trust me, it's been wild. Blake's name has been attached to some seriously messy situations, and somehow, Taylor's name kept popping up right when things were getting heated, almost like it was meant to distract from the real issues. People online have been buzzing about how Taylor has been subtly, yet very intentionally, pulling away from Blake. Remember how they used to flood each other's social media? Well, when's the last time you saw that? Fans are starting to notice that Taylor's been shifting her focus, spending more time with friends like Sophie Turner and Selena Gomez. Coincidence? Maybe. But also, maybe not. But wait. Before we dive into this whirlwind of friendship drama, juicy crushes, and maybe some jealous bestie vibes, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to keep this channel alive. Trust me, your clicks are what keep this all running. Now, let's talk about Taylor's reputation for a second. We all know she's a mastermind when it comes to managing her public image. She doesn't let just anyone into her circle, and when she does, they have to be solid. So if she's pulling back from Blake, well, people are saying it's for a good reason. Taylor's got an empire to protect, and aligning with the wrong person? Not in the plan. An expert on celebrity dynamics hinted that shifts like this aren't always dramatic, but they're definitely intentional. Taylor isn't the type to stir up.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, you know, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful.
Drama. But when she moves, people notice. And right now, she's clearly moving away from Blake. Now, let's take a little detour. Even with all the initial excitement, word is that Lively and Baldoni quickly ran into some major creative clashes. Lively, known for her sharp wit and effortlessly stylish roles, found herself butting heads with Baldoni, whose work is all about deep, emotional storytelling. What started as the perfect collaboration quickly became anything but. Lively was brought on as the star, with whispers suggesting her husband, Ryan Reynolds, tossed in some of his comedic ideas here and there. Meanwhile, Baldoni was laser-focused on staying true to the novel's emotional heart, wanting to bring out themes of personal growth and real human connections. For a while, everything looked like it was going smoothly. Both Lively and Baldoni spoke highly of each other in interviews, and fans were absolutely hyped, thinking they were in for a movie that nailed the perfect balance of humor, romance, and emotional depth. But behind the scenes, tension was building. Lively and her team pushed for a fresh, modern twist, cranking up the humor and adding some high-fashion moments. Baldoni, on the other hand, was worried that too much glam would strip away the raw emotional core of the story. The divide only grew, with both sides feeling frustrated and unheard. Then came the bombshell no one saw coming. Lively took the drama to court, claiming she was being left out of key decisions. Baldoni fired back with a mountain of evidence: text messages, production logs, meeting notes, all showing that not only was Lively involved in creative decisions, but she was the one leading the charge when it came to style and humor. And then, the jaw-dropping $400 million defamation lawsuit. The massive sum of money involved made it clear this wasn't your average Hollywood spat. Fans and insiders were left reeling, not knowing who to believe, especially as rumors started swirling that Blake Lively might have bent the truth a little while under oath. But then, the twist everyone was waiting for: Taylor Swift entered the picture. At first, no one knew where she stood. She and Lively had been inseparable for years, always showing each other love online and even collaborating on creative projects. But when whispers began to spread that Swift, or someone close to her, had weighed in on the film's comedic dialogue or played a role in key creative decisions, the whole situation blew up. And then, the game changer. Rumors started circulating that Swift may have seen private conversations that directly contradicted Lively's version of events. Some insiders claimed Swift was starting to feel uneasy about the lawsuit, realizing that the public narrative wasn't lining up with what she'd personally witnessed. After thinking it over, sources say Swift finally made her move, presenting messages, transcripts, and personal recollections that directly challenge Lively's claims. And just like that, the entire situation shifted. With Swift, one of the world's most influential figures, questioning Lively's story, everyone began to reconsider the entire situation. If even a close friend was willing to challenge her narrative, how solid was the lawsuit really? Insiders describe Swift's involvement as calculated and deliberate. While she hasn't openly condemned Lively, one thing's for sure: she wasn't going to sit idly by while falsehoods were being spread. A source close to Swift says that, at first, her involvement in the project was nothing more than casual and lighthearted, just brainstorming ideas, sharing funny stories, and chatting about ways to give the novel a modern spin. According to this insider, Lively was all in whenever Swift pitched a witty one-liner or a clever scene. There was never any sign of hesitation or discomfort, which directly contradicts Lively's later claim that she was blindsided by the comedic changes she supposedly hadn't approved. And here's the kicker: Swift reportedly has voice memos and texts showing Lively's excitement over these playful additions. If true, that's the kind of proof that could seriously shake up Lively's courtroom claims that the comedic elements were forced on her. Fans who have long adored the Lively-Swift friendship are now divided. Some worry that Swift stepping forward with these contradictions could destroy a beloved Hollywood bond. Others see it differently, believing Swift is just standing by the truth, hoping her honesty will help settle the legal mess before it spirals even further. Either way, Swift Speaks Out has been trending all over social media, sparking heated debates about what real loyalty means. Should you always have your friends' backs? Or is loyalty to the truth and to collaborators like Baldoni more important, even if it means calling out someone close? Meanwhile, Baldoni isn't wasting any time. He's made it clear that his legal team welcomes any and all clarifications from individuals who possess relevant information. While he hasn't directly named Swift, insiders and fans are taking this as an open invitation for her to officially present any records she may have. From Baldoni's viewpoint, if Swift's messages or recordings show that Lively was on board with the comedic changes and the over-the-top wardrobe choices from the start, it could strengthen the case that she's misrepresented her role in those creative decisions. Lively's camp, though, is standing firm. They insist there was no deception on her part and argue that Swift had limited exposure to the finer details of the creative process. They point out that a handful of text exchanges about jokes or fashion ideas don't paint the full picture of how the script evolved. Film production is fluid. What begins as a fun idea can snowball into something much bigger, especially as extra comedic moments, flashy cameos, and elaborate costumes get added. From their perspective, this lawsuit isn't about rejecting humor. It's about how Lively's broader creative vision got sidelined as the project gained momentum. Now, the real question is whether Swift's revelations could actually prove Lively misrepresented things, or if they just highlight how a movie's tone can naturally evolve over time. Let's face it, most film productions undergo huge changes from the initial concept to the final cut. A few early texts or meeting notes might not capture how an actor feels months later, after countless rewrites and mounting frustrations. Plus, Swift's perspective might only cover certain moments, especially since she wasn't officially part of the creative team. But still, if Lively's lawsuit hinges on the claim that these creative shifts were forced on her, and there's evidence she was initially on board, well, that could change everything. The scale of Baldoni's defamation claim is one of the most mind-blowing aspects of this entire drama. He's insisting that Lively's public statements and legal filings have seriously damaged both his reputation and the financial future of the film, which is why he's going all in with that jaw-dropping $400 million lawsuit. That number? It's not random. It reflects just how deeply he feels wronged and the massive fallout he believes this controversy has caused. If Swift's testimony or personal records show that Lively was fully aware of the film's creative direction and even played a key role in shaping it, Baldoni's case would become much stronger. Courts take credibility seriously, and if Lively is found to have twisted or left out crucial details, her entire argument could collapse like a house of cards. But hold on, there's another side to think about. Even if Lively was totally on board with the comedic and glamorous elements at first, she might have later felt overshadowed by Reynolds' comedic genius and Swift's undeniable star power. Maybe she started worrying that her original vision for the character was slipping away. That kind of shift, going from excitement to frustration, happens all the time in the high-stakes world of filmmaking. Some legal experts point out that changing one's perspective over time is different from intentionally misleading the court. But if it turns out that Lively knowingly made...
He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean...
She sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her and she's like very maternal. And then
false claims under oath, the legal consequences could be major. Swift's role in all of this is especially fascinating. She wasn't an official producer or credited writer, but her close friendship with Lively gave her a unique behind-the-scenes look. Whether she was casually pitching witty dialogue or just offering moral support, Swift had a front-row seat to how Lively's attitude shifted during production. If Swift really has messages proving that Lively was excited about the film's comedic tweaks or the extravagant wardrobe choices, that could completely dismantle Lively's claim that those elements were forced on her. And let's not forget, Swift's reputation for keeping detailed records and sticking to her principles makes her testimony all the more impactful. If she provides solid proof that Lively misled the court, the fallout would be massive. As expected, Lively's team is in full damage control mode. Insiders say her legal team, crisis PR strategists, and possibly even Reynolds himself are holding frantic late-night meetings. They're reportedly going through every text, voice memo, and piece of footage to build a timeline that could account for anything Swift might reveal. Their defense will likely be that a few lighthearted texts about comedic moments don't wipe out the deeper creative struggles that unfolded over months. They may also argue that Swift's input, no matter how well-meaning, was casual and didn't reflect the full scope of the film's development. The big question now, will Swift take the stand, or will she submit her evidence behind the scenes? Some think she'll go the route of a written statement to avoid a direct cross-examination. Others believe, given the high-profile nature of this case, that Swift might step into the spotlight, especially if she feels the need to set the record straight. One thing's for sure, she knows the weight of her words. A single social media post or public statement from her could flip the entire narrative in a heartbeat. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking for the film. The longer this legal drama drags on, the more investors and studios may start to write it off as a lost cause. Even the biggest stars struggle to carry a film when it's overshadowed by scandal. If the audience becomes more interested in the real-life drama than the movie's actual story, the box office potential could collapse. And even if a settlement is reached, the damage could linger, making it nearly impossible to promote the film without reopening old wounds. Swift's involvement has turned into a full-blown test of loyalty and truth. Some corners of social media are even calling her the moral compass of this entire saga. People are questioning if Lively confided in Swift so deeply about feeling sidelined that now Swift is caught between sticking by her friend or confronting her discomfort with watching false claims take root. If Swift believes the lawsuit isn't grounded in truth, stepping forward could be about standing up for integrity. But if she's only seeing fragments of the bigger picture, her decision to speak out might just stir up even more chaos in an already messy situation. Regardless of how this plays out, the entertainment world is on high alert. These aren't just any celebrities. Lively, Baldoni, Reynolds, and Swift are household names with massive influence. The idea that text messages or videos could surface that contradict Lively's sworn statements has fans buzzing with speculation about what this could mean for her career. On the flip side, if Swift's evidence only highlights minor inconsistencies rather than outright deception, Baldoni's defamation claim could lose its steam. The next moves might bring depositions, cross-examinations, and even more evidence, exposing whether Lively's position was solid all along, or if things were shifting behind the scenes. What started as a simple creative clash between a lead actor and a director has now spiraled into a cautionary tale about the dangers of half-truths in an age where everything is documented. Every text, voice memo, or casual note now holds the potential to either confirm or challenge someone's version of the events. Swift's rumored collection of screenshots or recorded conversations could end up being a powerful tool for uncovering the truth, or it could backfire, depending on who the public believes should come out on top. If there's any silver lining here, it's that fans of the original novel might still get the movie adaptation they've been hoping for, a version that truly captures the book's heart. Maybe, just maybe, if all sides can find common ground, or if a legal settlement can smooth things over, production could move forward without all the messy drama behind the scenes. Audiences are still holding out hope for a version that blends genuine emotion with just the right amount of charm to win hearts across the board. But whether that actually happens, well, that depends on how this lawsuit unfolds and how Swift's revelations alter the game. Swift's decision to get involved has sent shockwaves through an already intense legal battle. Her insistence on calling out inconsistencies and outright falsehoods has placed Lively's credibility under a glaring microscope. Some insiders are convinced Swift wouldn't make such a bold move without hard evidence, given how carefully she protects her public image. Others think she might be getting pulled into Baldoni's orbit, intentionally or not, to give his case an upper hand. Meanwhile, social media has exploded with the phrase, "Swift exposes Lively's fake lawsuit," as fans, pop culture enthusiasts, and legal analysts alike dissect every rumor, every leaked detail, and every hidden agenda. In Hollywood, high-profile disputes like this typically end in quiet settlements, but that doesn't mean the questions just disappear. Even if Lively and Baldoni come to some resolution, the public may never get the full story behind the contradictions and those sudden comedic shifts in the movie. But with Swift potentially shedding light on what really went down, or at least offering her perspective, this case is far from fading into obscurity. Whether Lively's lawsuit is built on shaky ground or she simply got swept up in a professional fallout that spiraled out of control, the truth remains elusive. For now, all eyes are on this powerhouse ensemble, a visionary director, an actor caught in the middle of it all, a quick-witted spouse, and a global superstar who may just hold the key to unlocking this puzzle. And right at the heart of it, Taylor Swift, whose decision to speak out could change everything in ways no one saw coming.